Hey guys, it's Evie and I'm here with Joshua. Say hi.
Yo, what's up?
This is our second episode and we'll be discussing education. Tell me more about education, Josh.
Yeah, there's a lot of variety in education, in both the education we get at school and outside of school, like growing up and becoming an adult, going into adulthood in your life. Education has a big part in that as well. And it's very important to know uh, where you can get the right education and how to educate yourself.
That's the perfect definition of education. Well done.
Yeah.
Um, so I would like to start with the school systems and how our school systems are different from each other.
Right.
Also, I think different from other school systems in the world. I don't know, would you like to start or do you want me to?
Yeah, I could start. So the school system here in the Netherlands is very different compared to other school systems in the world. Uh, I somewhat like it, I somewhat don't, because it's very difficult to explain it because
Mhm.
there's so much to tell about the school educations. Like there are so many levels that it can be quite difficult to understand uh, just by telling it in like 3 minutes or something. But there's a bunch of levels, and everyone has gotten some type of level where they actually fit. Like someone might be at the lowest, at the bottom,
Mhm.
and someone might be extremely intelligent, some sort of Albert Einstein too. He could go to the highest level and go to uni afterwards. But yeah, uh, it's such a difficult, complex system. Uh, yeah, I don't know about Belgium.
So in Belgium, it's quite simple compared to the Netherlands, I would say. So we have kindergarten, which is, I think, 3 years. And then you go to elementary school or primary school, whatever you like to call it. That's 6 years. And then you have high school, which is also 6 years. And then you can decide to go to college or to university.
Yeah.
And of course, like you said, there are different levels.
Mhm.
There's like, wait, let me count them. I think there's like four. You've got the highest of the highest. If you're a genius, you can do that. And then you have the lowest of the lowest, which would be people with certain, problems, uh, mental health, physical problems, whatever.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, it's not difficult, and I feel like each level can go to college or has the opportunity to go to college or university.
Yeah. Yeah, here it's kind of the same in that sense, like everyone has the chance to go to uni or
Mm-hmm.
college at some point, because we've got primary school, and then you'll go to middle school, and then you'll
Mm-hmm.
immediately sorry, then you'll immediately go to uni or college. So those are quite big steps in not that short of a period of time, because it's the same time period as other countries. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, once again, it's very difficult to explain. But yeah, um, I think that it is quite good that we have gotten somewhat of a difficult schooling system, because everyone has gotten the opportunity to do whatever they like in such a variety of choice. And
Mm-hmm.
I can't see that in other countries like the US or something like that.
No, it's just that we have different options, and those options are quite good for us because we can decide where we would like to go or what we like to do, somewhere we fit in. And I think it's quite quite a good thing, and it helps people find their the thing they like to do. You're not forced to do something you don't like, so that's quite a good thing
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah, it's not like before World War II started. Like if you like to apply for a art school, that they'll just say, no, you can't join art school. And yeah,
That reminds me of someone.
yeah. I'm referring to
I mean, for
someone
the
that,
listeners, I bet everybody who's listening is gonna be like, huh?
yeah,
Well, here's a
you'll find
quick
out.
story. Here's a quick story. So, I don't know if you guys know Hitler. Well, he wanted to go to art school and he was denied. And some people think that's the reason why he became that evil. So, yeah. It always reminds me of those memes where that one guy's like, let me in.
Yeah. Yeah, so don't worry about that. Like, not in the Netherlands or Belgium. I mean, I don't know how it goes in other countries. I know that the Philippines, for example, it can be quite hard to go to a school which is somewhat good. Like
Mhm.
most schools have a pretty low level of education, and yeah, uh, when you look back at society and whatnot, you can see that a
Mhm.
lot of people are not educated well enough to go into society or something like that. And I don't think that we have to struggle with that sort of stuff in the countries where we live in.
No, I think that the Western countries don't have that problem. But I do understand, like, for instance, in Macedonia, um, the school system is fine, but the thing is, there's a lot of corruption. So, if you don't feel like studying, you can just pay off, to get your degree or whatever,
Mhm.
which isn't fair at all. And I feel like most of the people there would go for those mainstream jobs like being a doctor, a lawyer, engineer, whatever. And like different jobs are like looked um, down upon because they're not good enough, which is
Mhm.
weird, but yeah.
Yeah, the same goes on in the Philippines, and most people want one of those mainstream jobs as well.
Hmm.
And you can also pay off your um driver's license in the Philippines. I don't
Yeah,
know
same.
how much it costs, but I think it's about 1,000 euros. And then they'll say, you know what? Yeah, sure, driver's license. Let's take a picture, and yeah, drive
And then you
safe.
see them, and then you see them driving their car like in GTA.
Yeah.
No, but same thing goes for Macedonia. It's like you can pay everything off. It's like crazy. If you have the money, it's like easy.
Yeah.
But like we always joked about this with my cousins, and it's always like, yeah, if you don't become a doctor or a lawyer or an engineer, you become a disappointment to your family. So I guess I'm a disappointment.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel you because the same goes on with a lot of Asian families.
Hmm.
I wanted to become a doctor or a dentist back in the day,
Hmm.
astronaut, and yeah, now I'm here trying to go to somewhat of a business or technical school, and that isn't what most people expected from me. Like most of my Filipino family members were like, yeah, he's the future doctor. And now they're expecting me to become a CEO of a big company. And I don't know if I'll accomplish that, but I'll try to become the
Yeah,
next Elon Musk.
it's the pressure.
Yeah.
The pressure they put on you is crazy, and it's like, I mean, it's my life, so why? I mean, I'm not gonna listen to anyone else but me. Like, if this is what I want to do, then this is what I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
I mean, for instance, I did English literature and world history,
Hmm.
which I mean, I can do a lot of things. I can work in an office. I can work as an historian, as a professor.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Like, I'll see where it takes me. But it's something I've chosen for myself. It's not, my mom always wanted me to do other things, but eventually she was like, it's your life, so you can do whatever you want to do.
Yeah. Yeah. I hope that most parents are like that, because I know some parents that are the
Very
exact
strict, and when it comes
opposite.
to,
Yeah. They,
yeah,
they will pressure any bit out of you. Like,
yeah,
yeah, it's crazy. But it's something to learn as well, in your personal progress as a person. It's
yeah,
important to prioritize your own decisions and do whatever you like to do. I mean, let's say you'd like to become one of the biggest producers in the pop music industry. I mean,
mm-hmm.
go and learn how to produce, study some of the basics, the fundamentals, and the history of it. And who knows, you might become one of the greatest, or you might end up working a 9 to 5 somewhere else. But, at least try it. And I think that is the most important thing that most people have to learn.
Yeah. And I feel like, many people look down on 9 to 5 jobs, but
Mhm.
actually, if you have a job, then you have already won. So it doesn't matter which job you do. I mean, I have respect for every person. Doesn't matter what
Yeah.
job they do, who they are, or whatsoever. Like, if you're a garbage man who collects garbage every week, then that's fine too. I mean, those people
Mm,
work really hard. I would say they work even harder than we will ever do, or most people that do 9 to 5 jobs.
yeah.
So it doesn't really matter as long as you get a job. Doesn't matter what it is, as long as you're happy with it, then
Yeah.
that's all that matters.
Yeah. And people shouldn't forget that whatever your dream might be, and as hard as you might work for it, sometimes some things just don't work out, and
Mm-hmm.
everyone deals with that. And if it does work out, shout out, hats off to you. But,
Mm-hmm.
there's a limitation to everything. And if everyone in the world wants to become a doctor, or everyone wants to become a singer or an actor, then all the other jobs will just disappear, even though they are just as necessary or even more important compared to the other job. Even just like you said, becoming a garbage man, that's
Yeah,
very important. It's a very important job. Let's imagine a
exactly.
world with only garbage around you. Imagine your garden, or your apartment building, or something like that.
Yeah. I feel like, I remember this one quote. I think Emma Watson once said it. She was like, you're not here to impress society. You're here, or you're working to raise a family, to feed a family, and just get by every day. So it doesn't really matter what you do or what you wear, or, you know, those things don't matter. It's just important that whatever you do, that it should make you happy, and it should make you feel like you're doing something good, and making a change, even the smallest things.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, just to conclude this short thing, which I went to
Hmm.
in this conversation, yeah, do whatever you like and be happy with whatever you want to do, but uh, be cautious and try to gain knowledge for the things that you would like to do, and that goes for everything, whatever you
Yeah,
like to do.
I agree. Gather as much knowledge as possible. Like, I hear a lot of people tell me, like, I never read books, or I never do this. Start reading books, because reading, it's all of those books is so much knowledge that you will need later in life.
Mhm.
And you know, before I got into history and reading all those books about it, like if somebody asked me a thing, I would be like, I have no idea, or like, this is a topic that I can discuss because I don't know enough about it. And now I know most of the things, so I can talk about pretty much anything. So that shows you that if you read and gather all those knowledge, it will become quite useful one day, and you won't feel like you're less, you know, when you're having a discussion with people.
Yeah, and not only reading books, but we've gotten so many platforms online. You know, you
Mm-hmm.
can just Google stuff or go to YouTube, or you know, you can go to so many things. There's so many options out there because of technology that everything could be accessible. I remember when I was at school, I had
Mm-hmm.
a class about making, I don't know, bird houses or something like that. I don't remember
Mm-hmm.
what sort of class I had, but then I came across this book and it told me anything I had to do to make an atomic bomb. Yeah, and as
Oh
crazy
shit.
as it might sound, but if I wanted to do it and if I have the capital to do it, I mean, who knows? I might have had one of the most dangerous weapons in my yard or something like that, you know? So, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So,
It's
you know, you
crazy, but
can do it if you've gotten the knowledge and if you're prepared the right way.
exactly. Like I remember one of my classes was about psychology and how people think,
Mm,
which was a part, you know, of becoming a professor and teaching.
yeah.
And I was like, oh, this is going to be boring. I'm not going to learn anything, you know. But it was just crazy how much I learned from all of that, like how a person thinks, even my own mind,
Hmm.
and not just my own mind, but how other people think. And you can just easily, um, you know, get them or understand what they're meaning or whether they're lying or not, or how, you know, certain things, like little things, details that you know, you can get from having a conversation with somebody. Body language, all those things were quite useful, and I'm very thankful for that. And I still have the PowerPoints and the book,
Yeah.
and it's something very useful because when I went to teach in high school, it
Hmm.
helped me a lot with the different students
Ah,
in
yeah.
class.
Yeah, and you know what the funniest part is? Every time you
Mm.
learn something, even if you'll have to use it on someone else,
Mm-hmm.
you're the first person uh, who gets to know the thing, but you're also the first person, like when you look in the mirror, where you can use it on. You know, like let's say
Yeah.
uh, there's something going on in your mind and you want to get rid of it. But then you've read a book about how to get rid of that thought. So what can
Mm-hmm.
you do? You can use that knowledge that you've gotten and use it on yourself. And later on, you can also use it to others, of course.
Yeah, it's the course was called communicating,
Mm,
and there were like 5 steps that you can do to get where you want to get, you know.
yeah.
And as you know, it was with 2 people. You had to have a conversation, and you weren't allowed to give them advice, but you had to help them for them to figure out what their next move is. And I've used that on myself so many times because it's very useful, and it has helped me a lot with a
Mm.
lot of things in life, especially reaching your goals or trying to get there.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah, you know, communication is also one of the most important things to learn more stuff. Uh, like
Mm-hmm.
also at school, school won't be as fun uh, to go to when you don't have any friends to talk to.
Mm-hmm.
So the odds are quite high that you'll fail your classes because you're not motivated to go there. Uh, of course, if you've gotten the wrong friends, wrong influence,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, then same goes on. But uh, yeah, also in all other stuff, like at the working field, for example, in business, it's so important
Yeah.
to know how to communicate and to uh, get to know more people and how people think, because you can use that on and uh, grow your connection span, your circle, and that is
Yeah.
really important to learn more stuff from them.
Yeah, like you said, like, when you go to school, like for instance, you go to university and you don't know anyone there, and it's a thing you have to communicate to build relationships.
Yeah.
And what I've learned from my own experience, don't pretend to be someone you're not. uh, Always be yourself, because people will appreciate that more than you pretending to be someone you're not. There are people that will be temporary, and there will be people that will stick with you until the end. And I guess university is all about that, but be cautious and be careful, like you said, not to get involved with people who are bad news, bad influence,
Yeah.
because it will go down so fast. Like, you won't even realize how damaging and how bad it will turn if you let people like that influence you into doing things,
Mhm.
that are not okay to do.
Yeah.
I mean, we've all had that, especially in high school and middle school, where there's a lot of peer pressure, trying to fit in with the crowds. And sometimes that can result in you doing things you don't even want to do. I don't know about you, but I've had a lot of instances where, you try to fit in and you do dumb things. I've got a lot of stories, but I want to hear
Mhm.
your opinion on it.
Yeah, yeah, it's so true. Like everyone has been through it. Like me myself, I have been through it and I've done a lot. And let me tell you, I've done like a lot of stupid stuff back in the day. Uh,
Same.
I've had a bunch of fights with some of my teachers because, uh, yeah, I wanted to be the cool kid. I wanted to be, the funny guy in the class.
Yeah.
And I used to be that, but the way how I got there and how I got my so-called status, it definitely wasn't worth it. And I've just thrown away like 1 year of my life trying to be that specific type of person who I
Mm.
actually wasn't, because before that, people used to know me as this quiet, very serious, and somewhat of a young adult type of person, like even at primary
Mhm.
school. But after that, puberty started to hit, peer pressure
Crazy.
started to come over. And
Yeah.
yeah, everything changed. But I'm glad that I'm a different man and I don't really look back at the past anymore. But
Hmm.
when I do, I just look at the progress that I've made.
Yeah, and I don't know, when we met, were you better, like the better you, or were you still that person, back in 2017, remember?
Hmm.
Um, I think you were becoming serious and more serious. I don't think you were like you used to be.
Yeah. Yeah, I had already changed a bit back then
Hmm.
because I noticed that I couldn't go on like that.
Like, hmm.
So then I was like, you know what? I'll have to change. I'm still young, so If there's a perfect time to change, it's now. And that doesn't only count for young people, of course. I mean, with everything, the best time to go on and improve is now. There's
Yeah.
also this Chinese saying that goes like, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is to do it now. And
Hmm.
that quote is somewhat of a life quote. Like, I could tell it to everyone and completely make my own life story version out of it, because every time I've done something, I had that quote in my mind, and I had improved by changing my mindset and my lifestyle in that direction. But there was a lot of stuff that I had to learn to obtain the
Hmm.
goals that I have set back then and also right now.
Yeah, and I think it's never too late to make a change, you know. If you want to do it, then do it. Like, there shouldn't be anything holding you back. Like, if you want to do it, then do it. And I don't know if you've seen Kevin Hart's little Monday motivation video, but he was like, you know, I don't hate a lot of people. I do hate people that are talkers. You know, people are, oh, I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do that and
Mhm.
this and that, but never end up doing it. And honestly, I understand why, and so do I. I hate those people. Like, if you say you're gonna do something, then do it.
Yeah.
That's the only thing to get things done. And like the one quote you just said, like for me too, I wasn't always this person. I wasn't always this mature because I also did dumb shit in high school. I've got a lot of stories. One of them was so I had this friend called Tom,
Yeah.
and we had break. So, but we had two playgrounds, one on the rooftop and one, you know, below.
Yeah.
And we went upstairs, like to the roof. We grabbed a like a bin, like a garbage bin or a garbage can,
Mm.
and we threw the entire garbage can to the playground below. And the principal was like, who did this, you know? He
Yeah.
came in every class and we didn't say anything, but I felt bad. But at the time it was like, oh my god, this is so risky, let's do this is crazy, this is fun. And now looking back at it, oh my god, I was such an idiot.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of stories, and honestly, I don't know about you, but I've had like 4 detentions in total.
I don't
You
know
know,
the
in
number.
high school.
But
Well, like, you know, you were, you know, the cool kid who, you know, would talk back to teachers. That wasn't me. I was quite a quiet person in class, but outside of class, I was like, I was all over the place, you know,
yeah.
doing dumb things. Like, it's so stupid now that I look back at it. It's like, why did you do this or why did you do that? But I
Hmm.
mean, I learned a lot of things from, you know, the time that's passed. And, you know, I started to become more mature at the age of 18, 17, 18.
Yeah.
But I had a lot of things that I had to improve on, such as, you know, just things overall, like how I think about stuff or how I see things. And eventually, by my, I think, 21st birthday, I was mature enough, I would say. And it's something like, you know, you had like people that you used to hang out with who were bad influence, and you cut them all out because that's not how you want to be or who you want to be.
Yeah.
And then you find people who are not permanent anymore, well, who are permanent, who are not temporary anymore, and who, you know, help you become you. And I guess I'm very thankful for, you know, those people, including you, because you know, it's important to have, you know, people that support you, people with good intentions, people who think like you know. If you don't have that, you will probably end up, you know, in the gutter somewhere.
Yeah.
And it's sad, but it's true. Yeah,
Yeah. And
that's all
one
I'm
thing,
saying.
oh, yeah. And one
Yeah.
thing I would also like to point out to all the listeners, about, the people that are around you, the people you are friends with,
Mm-hmm.
make sure that your friends are not yes people, because some people
Mm-hmm.
always say yes, or they say do it or do that, and they agree with anything you say or do, but sometimes it's just because they want to be part of whatever you do or whatever you are like. um, and you'll make a bunch of mistakes and you won't stop doing them when you're surrounded with yes people. uh, like,
Mm-hmm.
let's take a look at a bunch of these rappers these days. They are constantly surrounded by yes people. uh, Whenever it's about drugs, they say yes, do it, we'll join. Whenever it's
Mm-hmm.
about doing some sort of crime, and all of that stuff. So be careful with the influences and the way your friends are communicating with you. It's okay to disagree with each other, because with disagreement you can both learn something at some point.
Exactly. You know, we agree to disagree. So it's always been like that. I don't always have to agree with you, and you don't always have to
Mhm.
agree with me. But eventually, we find like a common ground, I would say,
Yeah.
where both our opinions matter, and we both listen to each other, and that's important. You can't have people around that are always, yes, do that. And certain things, like, I'm always made sure that I was surrounded by people who had the same thoughts. And I mean, for instance, I don't drink, and I never had a feeling of, oh, I have to try this, or I have to drink
Yeah.
alcohol, or to feel a certain way. Some of my friends do, but my friends also respected me and my boundaries. If I don't want to do that, they're
Mhm.
not going to pressure me into doing that. And I think that was a very beautiful thing, that they respect you for who you are. For instance, we talked about weed, right? And
Yeah.
we both came to a conclusion that it's not something for us, because we prefer to be in control of ourselves. And that's something many people don't agree with, because they think it will help them in some way. I mean, sure, if you have a medical condition, it will help you. But if you have certain underlying issues, such as mental issues or whatever, then those things, alcohol and drugs, will make things worse. I don't know if I've told you, I don't know if I've told you before, but I've listened to this podcast where these two people used to do weed when they were younger,
Mhm.
and they were like, it was crazy. Like, I smoked some weed and I felt like I couldn't move. I couldn't move my body. I felt like I was dying, like I was. And honestly, when you hear stories like that, you're like, yeah, nah, that's not for me. Like we said, I always want to be in control over myself and over my mind and over my
Mhm.
body.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to look down on anyone who does weed. It's not my problem, but I'm saying be cautious and be careful with the things you do in life, because you can't ever take those things back.
Yeah.
Whatever happens, like, just be careful and surround yourself with people that have a positive vibe and a positive energy, and people who want to see you succeed, and people who want to see you reach your goals, people that support you, and people who are decent. It's important to have those people around, because they will eventually also help you become you, and reach the goals you want to reach.
Yeah.
Wow, that was a long speech, but I feel like this generation has been so messed up, and it's scary, and it scares me, you know.
Yeah. Yeah,
Like, I wouldn't ever want my kids to be like that. That's how I see it.
I agree. Like when I look at most people of this generation, uh,
Mm-hmm.
like I'm not scared because uh, I also communicate with those types of people. You know, I'm not friends with them, but uh, I'd like to treat
Yeah.
anyone in a kind way, wherever you're from, whatever your background is, poor, rich,
Mm-hmm.
or whatever. You know, the whole ikigai thought. And you know, I can also see the the beauty in whatever is imperfect. And you know, whenever I communicate with these types of people, uh, I can see what they want to reach at some point. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it might be like, I'm not sure if you can do it, but you know, if you'll change, you can definitely do it. And but overall, I think that I can't see myself being part of most of this young generation. Uh, but the same goes on for the older generations. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I'm very different compared to most people that are uh, in my surroundings and not from my friends group. You know,
Mm-hmm.
even compared to my friends, I feel like I'm different, but not in a sense that we can't grow and communicate with each other. But with some other people around me, like even in the neighborhood where I live, I see a bunch of uh, young people loitering, uh,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, I see them smoking weed, maybe uh, drinking alcohol on the streets, and you know, breaking the rules, trying to act cool. And I definitely wouldn't want my own kids to be like that. But uh, if they would be, then I hope that they can learn whatever they did wrong and whatever is imperfect in
Mm-hmm.
that lifestyle, so they can throw that all away and become a better person, you know?
Yeah, I feel you. And like you said, you're different. Different is good. You don't have to fit in with anyone, because we're all born to stand out.
Yeah.
There's no point in trying to fit in or trying to be something you're not. Be different. That's perfect. Like, just be different. And like you said, all these young people, and not even young people, but even people my generation or generation before me. For instance, I know a lot of people that are like really, really smart, like geniuses, like crazy smart, but they threw that all away for temporary things.
Yeah.
Like all of those things, like alcohol, drugs, whatever it is, smoking, cigarettes. It's all addictive. It's an addiction, and it ruins so many things for you, and that's just a pity. It's sad that you threw that all away for you know that. And eventually those people come to their senses, and they're like, oh, I messed up, and I want to do better, and you know be a better me. But then
Yeah.
there's a time that you can take back. For instance, if you've ruined your 20s doing all those things, then when you look back at it and you wish that it wasn't that way, and it's kind of sad, if you
Mhm.
feel like, oh, I regret, when you have to say like, oh, I regret doing that and I wish I didn't. It's kind of sad, to see them go through all of that.
Yeah, and it's also quite corny to me, you know, people that want to be just like the guy next to them. And, you know, at some point, everyone uh, will be exactly the same. You know, you'll have clones, and there's no originality anymore. And I know that it can be quite difficult to be original these days because most things have already been done by someone else, but uh, it's really corny when everybody does the same thing and thinks the
Mm-hmm.
same way because uh, it won't become original anymore. Like one example I can give you is in the whole streetwear and fashion community.
Yeah.
I remember when everyone wanted and everyone was wearing these Supreme box logo t-shirts.
Yeah.
Nowadays, I see a lot of people wearing hiking shoes from this random brand, and it's this trendy thing, and everybody does the same thing, and there's no originality. Nobody is learning anything new because everyone is doing the same thing. So you're
Yeah.
not progressing into your own mindset and your own way of
True.
thinking. And yeah, once again, that's really corny in my opinion. And I think it also ruins the art of being yourself.
Yeah, like you said, a lot of things have been done already, inventions or whatever it might be. But then if you want something, you will find a way to come up with something original.
Yeah.
If you want it, you can do it. Like you said, I don't know, back in high school, there was a period of time where everybody wanted to wear Vans, right? And I remember I used to wear Vans before that. So when the
Yeah.
time came and everybody was wearing Vans, I was like, yeah, this is not it. Like I'm done. I'm done wearing this.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just also when it comes to style, I don't follow any trends. Like I do my own thing. Like okay, might have a shirt from that brand or whatever,
Yeah.
but it's never like, oh, I see this person that I admire, maybe a celebrity, an actor, actress, singer, whatever, rapper, and oh yeah, I gotta be just like that person. No, you gotta be your own person. The
Exactly.
things you like, you gotta stand out with not only the way you dress but the way you talk, the way you walk.
Hmm.
It should be different from the rest, because if we all do the same thing, then we're pretty much clones.
Yeah.
There's no being different. There's all similar, all the same, and it's boring. you know I don't know, there was this quote about, somebody said something like, you laugh at me because I'm different, and I laugh at you because you're all the same.
Yeah. Yeah. I know that one.
Yeah, and I think that's beautiful because it is the way it is. I'd rather be different than be just the same person like everybody
Yeah.
else.
But, it's okay to take part in it. I've done it myself, especially in the
Mm-hmm.
past. But sometimes some sort of style or uh, ideology might fit you, and you know
Yeah.
then you might be stuck with it for the rest of your life. For example, I really like Champion hoodies,
Yeah.
vintage pieces, clothing, and I think that I will wear that sort of stuff until I'll get really old. And I still wear New Balance shoes. Like I've been
Mm-hmm.
doing that for a long while, and I noticed that a lot of people are suddenly jumping on this bandwagon uh, where they are all wearing New Balance shoes after
Mm-hmm.
this whole collab with this brand called Aim Leon Dore. And yeah, I don't mind the hype surrounding some things that I wear and the style that I have, but uh, when it gets uh, overdone, it might get boring, which could
Yeah.
cause me to move on. But I mean, if I really like it that much, then I don't care about the whole hype, and if the hype dies, then I will still rock the stuff which I.
Exactly. Yeah, I feel you. Like, you can have a certain style, like we all do. Like, I mean, like you said, vintage, it's kind of my thing, but I feel like my style would be, different styles combined, if
Hmm.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
And it's something that I like, and it's something that I will continue to dress like, and I like, I understand the hype about certain things, but I would never get into it. I mean, I was once tricked into, all the sneaker collection,
Oh,
having all these Air Jordan collabs.
yeah.
And honestly, I'm glad I didn't go through with that, because it would have cost me a lot of money and a lot of time. I know you did the same thing, which, I mean, looking back at it, I wouldn't mind it, but it's something that nowadays everybody does it. And I feel like because of those people that collect those shoes and resell them, now we can't afford those sneakers because the prices are crazy.
Yeah.
I
The
mean,
whole market.
imagine paying $400 for a pair of shoes.
Yeah.
I mean, or even more. Like the Dior collab
Oh, yeah.
was like, I don't know, 10K, which is crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. That whole market is rigged because of all of the
Yeah.
resellers, So for a true collector or uh, sneakerhead, uh, you know, it's terrible for them. I feel for them because, they're really passionate about what they like and what they do. But because of all of these resellers and bots and whatnot, they can't do whatever they like unless they join those types of guys. And
Hmm.
yeah, that just makes it twice as worse.
Oh, I've got a question for you. Which brand is your favorite?
My favorite
Or few brands? Yeah.
few brands. Oof, that yeah,
Here we go, a whole list.
that's a tough one. I like Nike. Yeah,
Yeah, same.
that's probably one of my main brands which I like. I like uh, Issey Miyake, which is
Mm-hmm.
a Japanese brand. I like uh, the pleats and whatnot, which they make. I'm really into, Japanese streetwear.
Oh, they've got great
Yeah,
fashion and style.
but
It's quite.
I'm not fully dripped out in Yoji Yamamoto type of
Hmm.
clothing, but I can appreciate the work and the style which they have. But I'm more into the whole uh,
Yeah, it's
casual
unique.
streetwear, casual streetwear type of things. I don't look at Uniqlo as a brand, but I like this stuff,
Yeah,
and yeah,
the
I think
quality is good, so
yeah, the
why
quality
not?
is great. It's really good. And
Like,
for the very high end brands, I think that I like Prada or something. I don't really buy this stuff, but I like it.
yeah,
What about you?
I feel you. So Nike has always been my all-time favorite brand. I don't know why. Ever since growing up, I always had a pair of Nikes,
Yeah.
and I still do. And I mean, I have a friend who listens to our podcast, and she only wears Nike, and it's amazing. It's like, come on, guys, please sponsor her. But yeah, I mean, Nike is like one of the well-known brands out there, and that's why I like their stuff, and I like their sneakers. They're very, there's a lot of comfort, and it just looks nice and everything. Um, but I'm also fine with, H&M, or like Primark. I mean, it's not really a brand, but it's like, it's fine if it looks good, then why not?
I hate
Uniqlo. Yeah.
Quality is
um
terrible.
yeah, but then like for those luxury brands, I don't know if Tommy Hilfiger is a luxury brand or not. Kind of.
It's a luxury brand, like not high end, but it's a luxury brand.
Yeah, I like them, and I guess other brands. I mean, when it comes to watches, I think that I really like Michael Kors.
Mm.
I mean, like that's the only thing I can afford. So I'm not gonna say a Rolex or anything like that because I can't afford that. But like, I mean, I don't mind. Like, it can be anything, and I'll wear it if it's good and it's good quality. Then I'm sure I'll wear it. But
Yeah,
I'm not the kind of person to like buy luxury brands and be like a show off. Like, oh, look at my shirt, it's from Supreme, or look at my shoes, they're Gucci and stuff like that.
yeah,
I'm not. I'm being very subtle with brands. Even if they're like luxury brands, I make sure they're not that visible.
yeah. I don't like the logos on
Mm-hmm.
like clothing. I like to keep everything simple. Uh, you know, uh, do you know this Balenciaga jacket, which has this puffer jacket, which constantly has this text around it with Balenciaga like 200 times or something. I
Oh
don't
yeah, yeah,
like these type of,
yeah.
but I do like stuff. I do like stuff from Kanye. Yeah, this you might disagree, but I like his stuff. With Yeezy because you don't really see the branding. It's simple. It is overpriced, but it is simple and the quality is great.
And
So
it's comfy.
yeah,
That's what I heard.
real
So
cozy. So I can mess with that sort of stuff, but I don't like all of the branding around clothes.
no, I don't like it, like over branding. Like you said, like the puffer jacket with the name all over.
Yeah.
I don't like that. It has to be very subtle. So, for instance, you definitely know this brand. It's called Comme des Garçons,
Oh yeah.
and I like the little heart. It
Hmm.
doesn't show like when you're wearing a jacket or whatever. So I like that, and also very into Suspicious Antwerp. I like bought like two hoodies, and it's very, very subtle, very nice. The quality is nice,
Yeah.
and it's very popular right now, but it's not like crazy, crazy popular where you can buy the hoodies or whatever.
I've
I like
just had
what
a an ad from them.
about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, but it's good. Like it's comfy and perfect for the winter or spring or fall or whatever.
Hmm.
And of course summer if you're buying t-shirts. um yeah, I don't know, I don't like saying the name of the brand or a logo somewhere. I
Yeah.
think it's like, you feel like you're showing off, and not, people will look at you and be like, oh, look at this show off. I don't want to be that person.
Hmm. And that is also what I really like from Belgian designers. You've got these big designers like Raf Simons and
Mm-hmm.
um, Dries Van Noten, these
Yeah.
guys. And I know some of their pieces, especially Raf Simons, have gotten these big logos on it. The big R on some of the Raf
Mm-hmm.
pieces, but some most of the stuff which I see, like when he did design for Calvin Klein, it was very subtle and the design
Mm-hmm.
pretty clean, in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't know if you've followed the news, but Kanye West was here. He was talking to somebody about a collab. I don't remember, but I
Another.
think that's interesting
Mhm.
because most of the creators from Belgium are very it's very simple.
Hmm.
and most of the time you don't see the logo or the brand, which is a good thing. But yeah, I agree that Raf or Raf, whatever you might pronounce his name, he, yeah, I've seen his collab and they're nice, but it's like all over the place. Like I can see it. It's his,
Yeah.
and that's what bothers me the most. I don't know, but when we look back at school and high school, there were a couple of trends, I think, where everybody would like dress like that or like this. I remember,
Yeah.
like I told you, the fans thing. What else? There were a lot of things that everybody had to have. I don't know about the Netherlands. Do you remember from high school?
Oh yeah, definitely. I was one of these people. I was one of the first people at school being like that. I
Mm-hmm.
remember when Tyler, the creator, and Odd Future made this video. Um, I can't remember the name of the song, but it blew up, and Supreme started to take over after that.
Yeah,
And at some point, everyone wanted to wear Supreme. Everyone wanted to wear Off White, from Virgil.
yeah,
They still do actually, and um, I don't remember the brand, but they made these ugly, like these terrible skinny jean motor driver type of jean. I can't remember the name, but uh, they are expensive and ugly. And yeah, everyone also wanted to wear skinny jeans, like those really tight skinny jeans.
yeah.
And yeah.
Also, ripped jeans. Remember
Oh yeah,
having ripped
ripped
jeans?
jeans. Yeah.
At my high school, it wasn't allowed to wear ripped jeans.
Oh really?
And I remember this one time I was wearing ripped jeans, and
Mhm.
I was sent home to go change like another pair of jeans
Yeah.
without holes in them, and I was like, "This shit, are you serious? I have to go home and take them back." And well, I did it, but it was crazy. The rules were like very strict. Like I don't know about you, but earlier, like in the early years, in middle school, I used to wear a uniform,
Hmm.
which, you try things like, oh, instead of wearing uniform shoes, I'm gonna wear like Converse, all-star
Yeah.
Converse. And every time they catch you and you're like, oh my God, oh, there's a thing in your school diary, another thing. And my mom was like so tired of it. She was like, couldn't you just wear uniform shoes? Like, how, it isn't that bad. And I'm like, Mom, listen, it is that bad. But yeah, I mean, I remember like Off-White became this huge thing. Supreme, of course, it was expensive, it wasn't, I mean, like when I used to teach, like last year or the year before, no, not last year, I think
Mm.
2 years ago, I used to have like kids in my class. They were around 15, 16 years, and they used to wear those sock shoes from Balenciaga.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
They were terrible, and it's like $500. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it was like, yeah, miss, it's like very popular right now, and it's like very expensive. And I was like, for $500 you can buy a lot of Nike trainers or sneakers,
Yeah.
you know but yeah, I mean, people want to be cool, the cool kid with the cool outfit.
Yeah. That is also why I became more of a um, Japanese style, casual streetwear with
Hmm.
tiny bit of these Japanese influences type of person when I'm looking at my personal style. But I tend to move away from all of these trends, like just like these sock shoes from Balenciaga. I know they had a pretty big shock value in the beginning.
Yeah.
I think they have done these shoes like a multiple time, like they've released different versions of that same shoe, so the shock
Yeah.
value isn't there anymore. But yeah, I don't like uh, those type of trends. So yeah.
I think the only trend I really liked was Jordans and like the cement trees. Back when in high school, everybody used to get them, and I was able to get them if I wanted to, and they were really cheap back then. But now they're like $400, and I'm like, this is crazy. I could have gotten them back then, and I could have just sold them right now. But
Yeah.
it's like, it was coming up, and it wasn't that huge. You were still able to buy all of these sneakers. I mean, I do have a pair of Jordan 1s here. I still have them. They're still good after all those years. But no, I'm not going to put money into that again. I mean, it is nice, but it's like people have ruined the entire thing,
Yeah.
and that's what sucks.
Yeah, that's also why I only buy sneakers at retail, or
Hmm.
like, let's say if I'll only have to pay like 10-20 bucks more, then I'm fine with it. But if it goes any higher, then I'm out, then I'm done. But yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's me speaking in terms of style, fashion, and whatnot. Don't have anything more to say about it, to be honest.
Yeah, that's pretty much it for me. You know, let's go back to school and how things were.
Yeah.
I feel like there was a lot of pressure, and I feel like if you weren't like the rest, you would get bullied. I don't know if you've ever experienced that, getting bullied by other students, like,
No,
um,
not really. I mean,
were you a bully?
no, I definitely wasn't. I always fought with bullies. Like,
Hmm.
I was always fighting with bullies because I thought that it was quite sad to see someone being treated in the wrong way, even though they didn't do anything wrong. Like, I remember when I was at this football club, and I first met my team, and then we had a couple of training sessions. We had a couple of matches, and there was this one guy who I think was autistic, and
Hmm.
um, yeah, it wasn't that bad. He just had a less extreme version of autism, and he wasn't the greatest football player. Let me keep it like that. And these other kids started to bully him, and I saw tears in his eyes, and I saw him really becoming sad because of the things that the other kids said. So I think that was also a moment where I learned to stand up for someone else, because before that I used to be quite quiet and I did nothing.
Yeah, on the sidelines,
Yeah, I
just
was
watching.
always watching what was going on because I thought, they're not crying, so they must be doing all right. But I didn't
Hmm.
think about how they felt internally. And
Yeah, it goes deeper than,
yeah,
the surface.
exactly. So, from that moment on, I stood up for kids that got bullied because I feel like nobody deserves to be treated like that. And I wouldn't like it if someone would do it to me, because if someone would try it, because that had happened back in the day, but then I would just beat someone like that up, but
Hmm.
I can see why someone else is too scared to stand up for themselves, so yeah.
Yeah, I feel you. I mean, I've not I mean, like for me, I've been bullied like in primary school,
Mm-hmm.
but like the petty dumb things kids say to each other.
Yeah.
I remember being in class and I would sit at the back. There was this one guy, he was chewing gum and he took the gum out of his mouth and he just stuck it on this girl's hair.
Mhm.
At the time, it was funny, and looking back at it, it was kind of funny. But I mean, if that thing is stuck in your hair, you have to cut your hair, which is horrible.
Yeah.
And I've seen people get bullied, and like you, I used to be at the sidelines. I used to just watch because honestly, I didn't know what I should do or how I should approach this.
Mm-hmm.
And then you become, more mature, more wiser, and older, and you start coming up for people that are getting bullied. We used to have this guy in our class called JJ. He was from the Philippines. His mom was from the Philippines, and his dad was Belgian.
Yeah.
And I don't know. He felt depressed for some reason, and I don't know who he told this to, but he was like, "Oh, I'm gonna jump off the roof and stuff." And he didn't come back to class after break, and we were all so concerned that we were like, "Miss, can we go look for him or whatever?" Because he told us that he was gonna jump off the roof and stuff. And honestly, everybody started panicking, and then he walked in and he was like, "Oh yeah, I forgot my backpack." And everyone was like, "Thank God." You never know how bad somebody's hurt
Yeah.
inside when it comes to bullying. You might not see tears, but there's more to it. It goes deeper than that. And I feel like if you have the voice and you can protect somebody who's getting bullied or stand up for them, then that's a good thing. I mean, we should all do that. Even now, we see somebody getting harassed for, even like for now, women getting harassed by, these men on the street. Like, if you're a guy, please stand up to that
Oh yeah.
and be there for them.
Yeah, that sort of stuff goes on in Japan as well, those creeps waiting around at subway stations, waiting
Mm-hmm.
for a woman who's alone, and they will just harass these women, like sexually harass them. And sometimes there will be rape cases as well, which is terrible. But I've also seen videos of guys or Twitch streamers, standing up for these women or acting like someone close to them because they know that these women are in big trouble if they won't.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel you. Like, we've had many cases here in Belgium where those things happen. There was one that was very all over the news. There was this girl from my university
Mm-hmm.
that was on her bike. She was cycling to her friend, and somebody pulled her off her bike and killed her. And apparently, the guy who tried to rape her and killed her, he had to be in jail, but they made a mistake, so they let him go, and he committed a murder, which is crazy. Like,
Yeah.
how does that even happen? Like, she would have still been alive if that guy wasn't walking around freely. And there was a lot of commotion and riots regarding the whole case. And it's crazy because it happened like, somebody from my university and nearby. So it was like, oh, I don't really feel safe walking around, and um, it's just weird. Like, I don't know why some guys do this, but like, getting harassed is not fun. Like, I can wear my headphones and he would still walk next to me and ask me stuff.
Mm.
And I'm like, dude, can't you see that I'm wearing headphones?
Yeah.
It's like, just leave me alone. It's so creepy. Like, what if, like, what if women did that? Like, hey, like, getting catcalled or, being harassed. It's just, not okay. Like, who
Mm.
does that?
Yeah, there's a bunch of people like that, and it shouldn't get accepted. If anything, the people that do that sort of stuff should be punished really bad. And I think that the governments, not only in Belgium and the Netherlands, but worldwide, should act harder upon it. But you know, that's also a process of learning, and I think that when we stand up, as you know, online and in person and whatnot, then who knows, they might change something. Hopefully,
Mm-hmm. A lot of people say that it has to do with your upbringing and home situation, but it's not. Like, it's your character. If
yeah,
you're a shitty person, then you're a shitty person. Your parents can bring you up just fine, teach you things and tell you what to do and what not to do, but you still decide how you are with people and around people. So it's your character, it's your personality, and it's you. It has nothing to do with your home situation, your parents, whatsoever.
yeah, I agree. Uh,
And it's crazy. It's just crazy how it still happens, and it's getting worse and worse. It should get better, but it's not. And sometimes I feel like, I remember this one friend of mine. He was like, it's so peaceful to walk around at night. You should do it. And I was like, well, I can't because I'm a woman, so I can't really do that.
mm,
Which, I mean, feeling unsafe, having to walk around with keys between your knuckles, between your fingers,
yeah,
having deodorant as pepper spray because pepper spray is not allowed, and you know just those weird things, like feeling so uneasy outside, after 6 p.m. It's just weird. It shouldn't be like that. And I'm not saying that it's just women. I'm pretty sure that guys get harassed too by other guys who are shitty. A lot of cases where guys get beaten up by others.
mm,
Like, it's crazy. It has nothing to do with who you were at home and how you were raised. It has to do with your character and your personality
yeah,
and how you behave. And that should change. There should be, like, different courses to make you aware of this and make you, change your mind and be
mhm,
different and not do those things anymore. I mean, sometimes I understand, like, it can be a joke, like, hey, there's a pretty girl, say something to her, but it doesn't come off that way. You're a woman, it's like, oh my God, here we go again.
yeah, yeah. I totally agree. I personally haven't dealt with like extreme cases of sexual harassment or something like that, but uh, it can be quite annoying at times to constantly be um how should I say it? When someone walks up to you and instantly starts flirting, and
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't stop with one person, but it just goes on every time when you go somewhere. I remember this time when I was working, I was at my job, and there were two girls who suddenly stopped walking in the supermarket, and I was continuing with the work I was doing, but
Mm-hmm.
then I constantly heard them talking about me, and they were taking pictures and saying this and that, and oh, he looks attractive and this and that, and I wasn't really comfortable. I mean, I know
I
that
feel you.
they can't do anything, but I wasn't comfortable at all. And then I noticed that these two girls were also outside when I was done with my job with another group of girls, and they were completely staring at me, and I was like, yeah,
That's
okay,
so creepy. But,
that's
like,
really weird.
that shows that girls are can also be like that, not just
Yeah.
boys, like not just guys, but girls too. So it's crazy how they did that, just randomly stop and be like, oh, he's attractive, and then wait for you, which is so creepy.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
wow,
really weird.
no, that's that's
Yeah,
not okay.
that's not
Doesn't
okay.
matter.
I know.
It's
Oh well.
weird, so weird. I remember, I don't know, but mostly here in Belgium, I think the Netherlands too, like when they approach you, they're like, hey girl, hey, and then when you don't reply, they're like, whore. And I'm like, fine. I'll take that. That's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's like in Dutch, they're like, mesh, mesh, hey, mesh. And they're like, hoer. Shit. And I'm like, why?
Yeah.
Why do you guys do that?
Yeah.
It's funny when I do that because they don't like approach you, but they're like, from a distance, they're catcalling you, and then you don't answer, and they're like, you're a whore. It's like,
Yeah.
fine.
I think that they've had a drink too much. Like in most
Yeah.
cases, they're just drunk. Oh
Yeah.
well.
Or one time we were walking down the street with my mom,
Mm.
and this one guy was like, hey, mama, to my mom,
Hey.
your daughter is hot. And I was like, bro, are you really gonna try things with my mom next to me? It's like, I mean, it was flattering in some way because he was not like, being crazy or trying to approach me, but he just said that. And it was
Yeah.
really funny. Or just one time, we have a square nearby,
Hmm.
and me and my mom were going to the laundromats because our dryer is broken, so we had to go there. And this one guy was like, can I ask you something? And I was like, sure, you can ask me anything. And he was like, are you together? And I'm like, this is my mom. What do you mean we're together? I'm not dating her. This is my mother. What the hell? How? Like, shit.
So you're not dating your mom?
No, no, I'm not dating my mom. But that was crazy. That was one of the craziest questions that I've ever gotten in
Yeah.
my entire life. Are you together? No, bro. Like, oh, so awkward. But yeah, those
Yeah.
things happen.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like you can't imagine how many times aunts or mums have asked my mum to couple me and their
Mm-hmm.
daughter or niece or something. And yeah, that's crazy. Like actually that's really crazy. And I'm just sitting here like, yo, what are these women constantly doing? And my mom is like, nah, that's my little baby. No girlfriend until he's done with school. But they're just trying, and it didn't stop with one person, but they just came in, like, yeah, your son and my daughter. And I'm like, come on, you can't do
Yeah, I
this, man.
feel
You
you.
can't do this.
Yeah, like a friend of my mom was like, she had like a nephew of her.
Mhm.
I think he's like 1 or 2 years older than me. And she was like, maybe Evie and him should date and stuff like that. I'm like, hell no.
Yeah.
That's not gonna happen. But yeah, or when you go to family gatherings or friend gatherings with older people, and they're like, oh, when are you gonna get married? And I'm like, how about never?
Yeah. Yeah. Also, my cousin, um, I remember she told me a story. She even showed me a photo, but she goes out eating with her boss sometimes.
Hmm.
Uh, like the boss is really friendly, and she's from China. And I remember when her boss told me or told her, um, yeah, be look nice when we're going to dinner. So
Mhm.
my cousin was like, okay, but yeah, she didn't do it at all. She just came in there with one of her coziest hoodies and I don't know, a pair of jeans or something, or joggers. And yeah, instead of a small table, which they really usually sit at, uh,
Mhm.
they suddenly had ordered a very big table. And my cousin wanted to sit on the other side of the table. And then her boss was like, no, 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 don't sit there. Come sit next to me. That's for one of the boys. And my cousin was like, wait, what? Which boys?
Hold up.
Yeah. And then her boss tried to, couple her and her two nephews, which, yeah, I think they were just
Crazy.
as old as her, but yeah, it's so funny.
Yeah, or friends who try to get you with somebody, like a friend of theirs, and
Oh,
you're like, I'm not interested, but you're not interested at all, but you don't want to sound rude, so you're like, how do I make sure she doesn't do anything stupid?
yeah.
And it's like, well, why do you guys do that? It doesn't work like that.
Mhm.
You
Yeah.
can't make people like each other. It should happen naturally. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's crazy. Like, oh man, so many instances where they're like, oh, so this is now it's your turn to get married or something like that. You're like, I'm still young. Like, I'm not gonna get married now.
Yeah.
I
Uh,
mean,
but
yeah,
I think we should do a part two because the conversation is
yeah,
quite long and
getting
you know,
really long.
we're limited to an amount of time which what we can upload, which is a bummer in
Yeah,
my opinion. So yeah, we should do a part two and end it right here if that's okay.
perfect.
All
All
right.
right, guys, thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time.
Bye bye.
Peace out.